Okay, here I am. I'm back with another video, and this is just a quick follow-up just to talk about the ups and downs of cancer and the importance of a support system. So the past couple of weeks have been pretty rough for me. I had a fever, which put me in the hospital, and then, some complications, from the fever and from, all the treatment that I've gotten in the past. We're actually about just less than 2 weeks out from the 10-year anniversary of my first stem cell transplant. And that was when they took my own stem cells and bone marrow, cleaned it up, blasted me with chemo, and then put everything back in. And that worked for a while. And, that was a question a friend of mine, bartender friend of mine, asked last night, about cancer and the ups and downs. And the truth of it is you don't really, unless you have a cancer that can be cured, you don't really have, treatment and then the cancer is all completely gone. This is one of those things with multiple myeloma that, I've had remission for 2 to 3 years, and then I've had to do treatment for a year and a half. And that's just kind of the way it goes. And right now I'm in one of those areas where I'm doing treatment. I had this thing in my neck where another vertebrae was fractured, and that just kind of goes along with the territory. But you get treatment, and you get surgeries and things like that, and then you bounce back and you do all right. A lot of people say, wow, you look so good for someone who's been through this for 10 years. And I really take great pride in that and trying to be active. As you can see, I'm in the woods with my dog Veda, and we have a great time. And in the past 10 years with cancer, I've driven cross country and back twice. I have gone to Europe, started off in Lisbon, and drove and took the train and flew all the way across the French Alps, over the Italian Alps, into Venice and Italy, and then all the way up north into the UK and Paris. And nothing has stopped me. And so I think that there is a confusion with people that you look great and you're out traveling and you're working. And as a lot of I am a journalist, and I do a lot of writing, and I've worked on some book projects and some video projects. And I try not to let anything stop me, but there are times where you have to listen to your body. And that's where the importance of a support system comes in, because no matter how good I look, and trust me, those aren't my words, and those are just the words of someone who says you look good for someone who's been through so much. I'm not saying I'm an Adonis or a model or anything like that, but gotta trade hands here. But when people think that you look good, they maybe make the mistake of thinking that you don't need any help or assistance. And I just had surgery on my arm recently. They put a titanium rod down it just to support my bones, because when you get so much treatment, your bones can get brittle in certain ways. And so these are all things to try to keep me healthy and to keep me active and to keep me going to Europe and cross country and doing photo shoots in the Caribbean and taking my dog out and all that kind of stuff. And so I try to be as active as I can, but then there are times when you're recovering from some of these treatments and you have to have a support system. And, I live on the second floor, and, things just like when you're doing rehab on your arm, sometimes it's hard to carry groceries, and sometimes it's hard to, shovel, there's all kinds of things. So the point is, you have to have a good support system, and that doesn't just mean your family. Family is one thing, and they always say that you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. But just because your family, you were born into it, doesn't mean that that's an excellent support system, and it doesn't mean that they're always going to be there for you. And I think you can probably read between the lines there. But when you have friends and you have some extended family and people who are really willing to help, then that's great. But just make sure that you have people that you can rely on, because the last thing you want to do is be going through treatment and having side effects and then have someone, kind of ditch you. And then the answer is later on from other people, well, you look so healthy and you're doing these videos and you're doing all this traveling, so you didn't really think you were that hard up. And that's really just not true. the way that I'm able to do all those things is by having a good support system, by taking care of my body, by doing physical therapy, by going to my treatment, and all that kind of stuff. And finally, probably the most important part of your support system is your significant other. And right now I'm in between. I think that's hilarious. But people who haven't gone through cancer are never going to understand it. And so you have to be go really easy on them, because you never know when things are going to take a turn, and you need to make sure that you are as understanding of their situation as they are of you, because just as much as they can't understand 10 years of bone marrow transplants and treatment and chemo, it's also hard for me to understand how other people approach me and see me. So these are things that are all very important, and something that I just had on my mind I wanted to share with you all. And I think there are a lot of exciting things happening for me, and will continue to happen for me, and I look forward to sharing that with all of you guys. But remember, do your treatment, always follow up, do the physical therapy, do everything the doctors tell you to do, have a good support system, and be extremely understanding of the people around you who don't necessarily know what you're going through, and they're looking at you and thinking you're fine when maybe you're not, and you need to communicate that with them. All right, so I'm out of here. Hopefully this is the last big snow of the season, and Veda says goodbye too. Veda! All right, take care. Thanks.